I love mediumship, and some of you might be interested in why I got into mediumship itself, or you're curious for yourself in your own journey. So I wanted to share this little video with you about that. I love the healing aspect about mediumship. When you meet somebody, a complete stranger, and there's this moment shared, there's an exchange of stories, there's an exchange of life and experience and troubles and things that challenge us as people. And what I've learned from this is, and doing this over a long period of time, is that someone else who's a complete stranger is actually an expert in something else that I'm not an expert in. And it's incredible what happens when you meet someone else and you just share an hour of your time together, and what can happen, not only on the healing aspect about learning how to deal with grief or managing your own grief, but it's also sharing some great abilities that other people have and their stories. And one I'd like to share with you right now is a lady who I met. She had lost 9 members of her family in one day, and she was at a funeral when she was told that 2 generations of her family were not coming home. And the incredible thing about that lovely woman was she was actually at a funeral when she was told of the news. So not only did I try and help her reconnect to some of those people who had died, she healed me that day. That beautiful woman, in that short space of time, made me realize that even for myself, here I think I've got problems of my own. And when you hear someone else's life and stories and learn how she got through that and how she could live and survive with such a major tragedy in her life like that, it just made me realize how special she was, not only as a human being, but how she could learn to have the strength inside to carry on and share those life stories with other people. So she was down and out and thought, maybe I don't want to be here anymore. And then realized that to find strength to stay here, she wanted to basically write stories about all of her family who had passed, like a biography about who they were, so that the kids and the grandchildren growing up would know who these people were, and that's what gave her strength to carry on. And it was so moving for me as a medium and as a healer to have that experience. And she's just a normal person getting around everyday life. People would probably walk past and think, just a lovely old lady doing a thing, and yet she's a hero in my eyes. And then there's this other aspect, when you have this amazing stuff that comes back to you from third parties, or you give information to people and they might not be able to take it straight away in the reading, and then they come back to you even like a year or two later and they say some stuff. An example that comes to mind is when I was doing a public demonstration in front of a live audience. I went to a gentleman in the crowd and I said, I have a sergeant major who's a family member to you, great-grandfather, and he's a high-ranking officer in the British infantry. And he said, yes, that's correct, he is. And I said, would you understand he had a writer's desk, green leather top, brass studs, a beautiful hand-carved cherry timbered legs, dark cherry timbered wooded desk, writer's desk. And he said, yes, I do. And I said, well, he's telling me he's a spy for the IRA. And everyone in the audience was like, ooh. And he said, oh no, he's very British and very loyalistic. And I went, well, that's what he's telling me. So you might have to find out in your own time about that, to see if that's true. And ironically, about 2 years later, I get an email from him and he says, that writer's desk that you brought up in that public show when I was there, I actually moved house and had furniture removalists moving this desk into a van, and a secret compartment had fallen out, and there was all these documents in there with his involvement with the IRA. So it was an incredible email, and it's just, and he asked me in that email, like, what's all this about? And I just said to him, well, you needed more proof. You needed to have that experience so that it would prove to you beyond doubt that your loved ones aren't gone, and there's an intelligence there, and they know more about things than we do. And you needed to have it at that time so that you could really believe it in yourself, that maybe there is something there, maybe we don't die, and maybe life is eternal, and the souls and spirits in the spirit world, and people in the spirit world can communicate with us. And so he had that experience on his own, but it was just so nice that I got that confirmation even 2 years later. So this is the thing. Sometimes even in mediumship, you know, you'll get information from spirit that you don't even know yourself. And if you have to go back and find out from a third person, that will even prove to you even more so that life is eternal and we don't die. Now you know why I love mediumship. Being able to share this gift with other people, to have them help me understand my own self, my own life. It's given me power to be at peace with who I am. And I know that I give that to others when they come to see me. And also to get that amazing evidence that proves to people that their loved ones aren't gone and there's hope for us. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video. My name's Rhys Wynn Davies, Psychic Medium.